What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and this Rudy Farias story has really taken off. It is getting national news headlining attention now. And you know, that's a good thing. But I'm going to warn you all right now, as this story gets bigger and bigger, and it's going to get bigger, just go ahead and prepare yourself for a lot of crazy. Yes, this story is really crazy, but crazy attracts crazy. Some of you, this may be your first rodeo. Others who are in the true crime community and watch true crime videos and stuff like that, they already know. The crazies are about to come out. They're about to attach themselves to the story for their 15 minutes of fame. There is no telling what we are about to witness over the next couple of weeks if they do not go ahead and lock Rudy's mom up. But as of right now, there's a big discrepancy because Rudy told some guy named Quanell that they brought in there to talk to Rudy that his mom did all of these nasty, dirty, freaky, gross things to him, okay? She made him play the role of her husband. She made him be the daddy, made him sleep with her and kiss on her and bathe her, and God, good freaking God. But anyways, that's the story from Quanell, the activist who went up there to try to get Rudy to open up. Law enforcement is telling a different story. Now, if you haven't already, I made a video. I think it's the last video. I'm not sure at what point I'm going to upload these videos. But I already went over details as to why the police may not be as open with this information as you all would like. Long story short, just one reason as to why they might not let us know what Rudy told them is because they want to protect Rudy. Maybe right now they're trying to gather information so they could take Rudy's mom down. Rudy's an adult, so they can't stop him from being around his mom. And they can't stop his mom from going anywhere because she's not under arrest. So maybe right now, they don't want to reveal what Rudy has told them. At the end of the day, if you're an investigator and you have a victim come forward and give you all of this information, is it right for you to release that information to the news media and to put that victim in danger when you know that victim is right there with his mom probably, who's capable of doing something to him like she's been doing the last 8 years? So there's plenty of reasons why law enforcement isn't going to tell you the real deal about what's going on here. That's why true crime channels exist, because law enforcement always zips their mouth and they don't say anything, and then people come in and reveal details about the story. Now, everyone's mad at Quanell. I don't know this Quanell dude from a can of paint. Didn't know he existed until yesterday. I'm aware that he's been involved in other cases. I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. What I care about is this Rudy story and what Rudy supposedly told him. Everyone's mad at Quanell, though, because Quanell came out and told the world what Rudy told him. Now, I understand why people would say that's not professional, because that's technically not something you're supposed to do. But this Rudy story is a unique case. If it wasn't for Quanell, we would not know the details about how bad this situation could possibly be. Now, you may ask yourself, well, why do we need to know the details? Law enforcement is the only one that needs to know the details. Law enforcement knew the details of this case for 8 years, ran into Rudy multiple times, was at the house, saw Rudy multiple times. They ain't did diddly squat, okay? You just have to start to understand. And listen, I'm not someone that tears down law enforcement. I respect people that, work in the law enforcement and various law enforcement agencies. If that's your thing, I respect it. I am not like a defund the police, BLM rioter type of dude. That's not me. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and act like we're just surrounded by a bunch of pristine, the greatest cops ever. They all do their job perfectly. No, a lot of them don't do anything. A lot of them don't do their jobs right. And oftentimes they don't pay attention to stories that need, attention. And in this situation, they've dropped the ball for 8 years. So it's time to get other people involved. And if it was not, ladies and gentlemen, When that miracle news story broke, and some of you all maybe saw it on social media, kid found after missing for 8 years. If it wasn't for people like me, if it wasn't for people like the various other people on the internet working to expose this mother, we wouldn't be here right now. You would have seen the headline, and it would have ended right there. It would have ended right there. Police didn't give a damn. It wasn't until the public made a stink. It wasn't until I started pumping out videos, and then that person started pumping out videos, and then this person makes a group talking about it, and then this person tells their friend, and then they tell their friend, and that's how we got the pressure on the Houston Police Department to finally step up and to look into the story. So I'm not mad at Quanell, and I don't think that Quanell lied about anything he said. You would have to be a really sick person to walk out here and just lie about that. And I really don't think Quanell is lying at all. But let's let Quanell speak for himself, because turns out he was on the news speaking about everything Rudy told him. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Let's go ahead and watch this clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
What do you believe the truth is about Rudy's situation?
Initially, when the mother first reached out to me, she said that she felt investigators were intimidating her and harassing her, and that she was concerned about her son's well-being. And so when she called me, when it was time to meet with the investigators, I went in with a strict open mind, believing that maybe the mother was being harassed and law enforcement was being a little bit more insensitive. Well, come to find out, what she told me the day before was not matching up to what she was telling investigators on yesterday. When they were questioning her, she told me that the gentleman that had been seen around her house was an ex-boyfriend, but during interrogation with law enforcement, she told them in my presence that the gentleman was her nephew. But also, her family had already indicated to us there was no nephew who was ever there. So once we saw Rudy was clutching her leg. She said Rudy was unresponsive, that he was nonverbal. But when we were able to remove Rudy from her, he said, well, I want Quanell X to stay in the room with me. I said, okay, and looked at the investigator. He said, no problem, fine, it's his choice. So when we removed her, the kid opened up. Took about maybe 5 minutes, but he opened up. And one of the things that he first said that stood out to me was, I just wanted to be free. I felt like a slave. He went on to say that she told him that you now got to be my husband. I'm going to now call you daddy of the house now. And she also convinced him that law enforcement was looking for him to arrest him, that he had warrants for his arrest for running away from home, and that if they caught him, he was going to jail.
Quanell,
so she conditioned him to believe, yes.
Conditioned him to believe, meaning just through words, or do you think that he was abused by his own mother physically?
Oh, she did a lot more than that. She gave him drugs. She provided him with mushrooms, other type of drugs. Also, he admitted those things to us in the meeting. He also said that he ran away when he finally ran away from home and stole her car and left the house. He said, I just wanted to be free. We said, why? He said, because she was making me do things I knew was inappropriate. She was violating my boundaries. We said, what happened? He said, she was making me get in her bed at night and sleep with her. And then he asked him, say, well, anything else happen? He admitted that she would kiss him on his mouth and his lips when he was in the bed with her, and that he did not like it. And he told her that he did not like that. And sometimes he would sneak out of the bed and get on the floor, but she kept making him get in the bed. He also said to us that she kept locking him in the room for years and then letting him out when it was time to go to work with her or whenever she wanted him to run an errand for her. He also went on to say that he would be in the shower and she would come in the shower, take off all of her clothing while he was in the shower bathing, pull back the shower curtain, stare at him, and I don't want to go any further.
No, I don't want you to go any further either. Also, because we're not talking about a kid.
It was evil.
We're not talking about a kid who's 6, 7, 8. I mean, that's terrible enough to hear. This was a teenager into his 20s. So whatever was going on here was, very deep-seated to get somebody of that age and have that kind of control over them. Now, the police, Quanell, they got a lot of answering to do here. It's not your job to find people in your community. Luckily, you and others came together to get this kid into a place where he can be safe. But the police contradict you. I want you to hear, I know you know already, but for the audience, here's something that they said at the press conference today and give you a chance to respond.
You said there was no reports of sexual abuse. Is that correct, sir, what you said?
That is correct, coming from Rudy Farias.
Was there any conversations about a sexual relationship between the mother and the son?
So we don't release any type of information related to sexual assault. That's just state law. I can't comment on that.
All right. So, look, you know, the police often play that both ways. They tell you what they want you to know, and then when they don't want to answer a question, they say, we got privacy issues, even though this kid's not a minor. Be that as it may. Do you believe that the police are being honest when they say this kid has never talked about these abuse things, which would mean basically either they don't know what you were told or you're making it up?
No, they are not being honest. In fact, let me be crystal clear. We got the proof that they're not being honest, sir. The sergeant, the detective, sat right next to me for the entire hour and 15 minutes that Rudy talked to both of us. Both of us asked Rudy questions, and he answered both of our questions. The exact explicit details that I've shared with you this evening were the exact details that were shared with the sergeant detective sitting right next to me. In fact, he got up at the end of that meeting and went out of the room and spoke to other detectives, escorted the mother into another room, and at that point put handcuffs on her. If he did not believe, sir, that a crime had been committed based on what he had heard, why did he leave out the room and put handcuffs on his mother? Because he knew she had committed crimes against his child.
I understand what you're saying, and it's easy for us to follow up on, and we will. Quanell X, thank you very much for telling us your truth and, you know, being part of the effort to help this kid, no matter what the backstory is. And we're here if we can help going forward. Quanell X, thank you. We'll go.
I seriously do not understand why people are giving this dude so much hate, but one thing I do understand is over the last couple of years, I've really started to understand how the true crime community works. And the way it works is a lot of people, they just want something to rage out about. They want something to be mad about. They want to sit on their couch, not doing anything, and just criticize people for how they're covering the story or for doing this or for doing that. And these type of people, I don't pay them any mind. Quanell didn't do anything wrong. If it wasn't for Quanell, you wouldn't even know what happened to Rudy. And there's a big chance law enforcement wouldn't have done anything. The fact that Quanell came out and spoke about how serious the situation was, that let the public know what's up. So now the Houston Police Department's going to feel more pressure in making a move and doing something. Like I told you all before, I really think the lack of inaction on the Houston Police Department's behalf, I think they're hesitant in charging her the mom and making any moves because once they do, it's an admission that they failed Rudy. Period. I don't care what direction you try to look at the story from. If the Houston Police Department went to Rudy's house multiple times, even talked to Rudy multiple times while he's supposedly missing, and his mother is online every day scamming people out of money, using fake hospital photos, fake missing persons pictures, how is this okay? How is this okay? So long story short, I do think the mother's going to be held accountable in some way, shape, or form. I really hope so. But I feel like law enforcement is trying to cover all their bases. One of those bases being public image. So that's just my opinion. Take it how you will. But right here, there's been all day. I've been on the road all day. By the time you're watching this video, it will be the next morning after I record this. And all day, the internet's just been abuzz. And now, because the way law enforcement handled their press conference, everyone's going crazy. Now everyone thinks that everything's fake and nothing happened to Rudy. Now people are saying Rudy's in on it and all of this wild stuff. And I hate when these stories get this way. This story was already crazy enough from the jump. You don't have to come up with baseless conspiracy theories when we already got enough crazy stuff to deal with when we're looking at Rudy's mom. I don't think Rudy's in on this. I think Rudy's a victim in this situation. I don't think that Quanell is a bad person for speaking out about what happened. And I sensed how emotional he was yesterday when he revealed this information. But let me know your thoughts about all of this. There is so much stuff left to unpack here, and I'm going to get to all of it. Trust me, I'm home now. Going to be a lot easier to do so. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.